silence in honor of Ochanja collapse victims. Mrs. Soludo calls for more commitment in fight against drug abuse. Nigeria Defense Headquarters begins Celebrate Nigeria Challenge. And on the foreign scene, we bring to you, U.S. blocks UN Security Council's scheduled emergency meeting over Gaza's dead. My name is Ajuluchukwu Okabwe. The news in detail. Before the news in detail, here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. And now the news in detail. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo led a 1-minute silence in honor of victims of Ochanja building collapse. The 1-minute silence was observed during the State Executive Council meeting at Government House, Awka. Governor Soludo expressed his sympathies and condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones in the tragic incident. He also assured the people of the state that everything possible will be done to prevent such incidents from happening in the future, urging everyone to work towards creating a better working environment for citizens. The 1-minute silence was a solemn moment, reflection on the lives lost and the tragedy that befell the state. Recall that on Monday, 3 out of the 5 buildings under construction at the Ochanja Market collapsed, trapping several people under the rubble. The governor followed with a visit to the scene of the collapse on Tuesday, where he discovered that there were several fatalities. Mrs. Soludo, Anambra State Governor's wife, has reiterated her commitment and preparedness to lead the front in the ongoing fight to beat the menace of drug menace in the state. Mrs. Soludo stated this when officers and men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency visited at the Governor's Lodge in Amobia. Addressing the visitors, Mrs. Soludo expressed deep concern about what she described as the scary statistics of a common menace and called for a more sincere and committed approach to the war against drugs, beginning from identifying the producers of the deadly substances. She noted that though a non-governmental organization movement, Healthy Living with Noye Soludo, has been leading the drug elimination campaign, there is a great need for a united response in the face of what drug abuse and its prevalence has done in the society, especially the youth. While promising to work closer with the agency, Mrs. Soludo advocated for a stronger community involvement in the fight and the need to follow up every case until justice is served. Earlier in his remarks, the Anambra State Commander of the NDLEA, Mr. Daniel Onyenshi, raised concerns about growing drug abuse cases in the country, with Anambra State also among states with high prevalence. He noted that Nigeria alone has 14.4% drug abuse prevalence rate, as against the global 5.5% world prevalence rate, disclosing that in 2018 alone, the agency intercepted 3.38 tons of drug in the state. The NDLEA boss stated that one of the reasons for the visit was to formally welcome Mrs. Soludo as a chairperson of Anambra State Drug Control Committee, which will be an action-driven crusade that will see to the complete elimination of drug use in the state. The people of Nkwo in Idemili North local government area have expressed appreciation to Governor Chukwuma Soludo for embarking on the construction of Nkwo Inland Doors Ojo to Nnobi Road. The people made their feelings known through the President General of Nkwo Development Union, Chief Godwin Amadike, who led some members of the town union on a courtesy visit to the Commissioner for Works, Engineer Ifeanyi Okobo. Staff reporter tells us more.
According to the President General, the people of Nkwo cannot thank the governor enough for seeing the importance of the road and moving in to carry out reconstruction work on the road to ease movement and prolong the lifespan of their vehicles. Chief Amadike also appealed to the governor to urge the contractor handling the Ekempo-Afompo road, which he said has not been receiving attention for now, to expedite action and to also consider the road from the town's civic center to their traditional ruler's palace for construction, pledging the support of Ndi Nkwo to the present administration and assured him that he will get all their votes when the time comes.
Thank him for the job him and our able governor, CC Soludo, are doing at Nkwo, especially the road from Nkwo Junction to Kempo, that's the Inland Doors. which the construction is ongoing now, to thank him for the good work they are doing.
Receiving the group, Engineer Koma said that the road started from Nkwa Obosi to Eko Obosi to Ekempo and to Afompo, saying that government is doing a lot of roads in Mpo, including Mpo Junction, Inland Doors, Ojoto, Nnobi Road, which will have floodplain from Obosi to Owelaja to Meteorological Institute and to Second Niger Bridge for proper discharge of water that causes flooding in front of Inland Doors. Engineer Koma reminded them that state government will ensure even distribution of resources as it concerns working on roads in all communities of the state, and therefore cannot confirm to him that the civic center to Igwe's Palace will receive attention now. The commissioner urged people of the area to take ownership of the roads and ensure that they are maintained, saying that the poor attitude of communities caused a lot of setbacks to the government, who plunged resources to existing roads instead of using same to do new ones, thanking the Mpo PG and his entourage for the visit.
Trying to make sure that these roads will last. But a road will not last if it's not well maintained. Just like any human being, we need to maintain yourself. So we're asking our people that once we've done this road, that they take ownership.
The PG was accompanied on the visit by the Financial Secretary of the Town Union, Mr. Aboy Oba, and the Protocol Officer to the Mpo PG, Comrade Ebere Osakwe. In Oka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
The Nigeria Institute of Building Anambra State Chapter has condemned the structural defect of the two-story building collapse at Ojanja Main Market, Onitsha. The chairman, Nigeria Institute of Building Anambra State Chapter, Mr. Kingsley Nweke, stated this when the members of the institute went on a feasibility study on the collapsed building at Ojanja Main Market, Onitsha. Esther Asonya tells us more.
Builder Nweke noted that the building lacks a lot of professional touch with wrong placement of materials. On the second two-story building close to the collapsed one, which is still under construction, Builder Nweke noted the need to seal up the building as it has been affected by the resonance and vibration from the ground during the collapsing process.
Material testing lab should have a lot of work to do on the in that building behind, and also the buildings, even the ones in front, which may have been affected by the vibrations caused by the collapse of this first building.
Lamenting the ugly incident, the Secretary General on the South Local Government Area, Mr. Paul Onwachala, who said they are in mourning mood, stated that they started rescue operation as soon as the incident occurred on Monday evening, mobilizing excavator to the site, their emergency and health departments, and were able to rescue at least 5 victims who are receiving treatment at the hospital at the council's expense. He noted that 7-man committee, which include the council town engineers, has been constituted to look into what transpired and recommend ways to prevent future occurrence. On the second building, the Onitsha South Secretary said they are adhering to the governor's instructions on removal of the building as soon as they were done with evacuation of the collapsed debris.
Get instruction from governor on how to approach these things, and we are following that instruction religiously.
Dr. Ifeanyi Anyanechi, a member of the Nigeria Institute of Building Anambra State Chapter, observed the major cause of the collapse. Dr. Anyanechi further observed a lack of professionalism in building construction, saying it was done by a quack contractor, no engineer, and no builder to supervise the work, adding that if professionals were involved, a lot of wrong works at the building could have been corrected and the building would have been saved from collapse.
You can see from what has happened here, no professional is involved in this job, and which is very, very unfortunate.
On their part, Builder Ikenna Okpala, the Vice Chairman of Nigeria Institute of Building, Anambra State Chapter, and Builder Chijioke Okeke, Chairman of Private Sector, Anambra Chapter of the Nigeria Institute of Building, said that the standardization structure in buildings construction is a process where every profession in the building environment is involved and each plays its role, saying that if implemented, there will be no building collapse in the country. They lamented the loss of lives and properties and the fate of the families of the victims and called on the state government to involve the whole building professionals in building constructions in the state. The visit featured an inspection of the collapsed building and the second standby 2-story building still under construction. Esther Asanya, ABS News.
The importance of guidance counselors cannot be overemphasized, especially in guiding students in the right career path. Guidance counseling is the process of helping individuals discover and develop their education, vocational, and psychological potentialities, and thereby to achieve an optimal level of personal happiness and social usefulness, while guardian counselors are professionals who provide these services. ABS Education correspondent Queen Anbogu tells us more.
In an interview, the chairman, Post-Primary School Service Commission, PPSSC, Oka, Professor Nkechi Ikedugu, stated that guidance counselors must be available and accessible to direct the students on the right career path so they will not make mistakes. She appealed to parents not to impose their own career choices on their children, but should rather allow their children to study the courses that they have passion for, even as she noted that it is the responsibility of schools to tell parents areas where their children are doing well.
I also want to appeal to parents not to force our children to do what they don't like. Let the parents allow the children to choose the career of their choice. And it is the responsibility of the school to tell the parents where their children are doing well, whether arts, science, and then the guidance counselor will now direct the child to the right path.
The guidance counselor of Community Secondary School, Apuno, Mrs. Chinwe Okeke, who has a 10 years experience in the profession, stressed the importance of choice of career in a student's life, adding that in counseling, she has group and individual counseling sections where she teaches the students what career is all about, opportunities and benefits therein. Mrs. Okeke, who said she operates an open door policy, added that she equally counsels parents where she advises them not to force their own career choices on their children, but to allow their children to make their own choice.
Well, the choice of a career for a student is very, very important. We have what we call group counseling sessions. In these group counseling sessions, I go from one class to the other and I teach them what a career is, and then the opportunities they will have in life in choosing their careers, the benefits of choosing good careers, and then what will equally help them to make a choice of good careers.
On the notion that school is a scam, a student of Community Secondary School, Oreri, Ms. Chinecherem Nwachukwu, asked youth to bury the idea that school is a scam and emphasized that education is a key to success in life, and going to school will enable them to achieve their life's dream.
Education is the key to success. Without education, there is nothing you can do in this life without education. As in, like, when you go to school, you can be able to achieve your goal in life. But when you don't go to school, you'll be, roaming around in the country as the country is now. Education will help you to improve your dreams.
Queen Anebogo, reporting for ABS News.
Following disenchantment from different segments in the country, Defense Headquarters has introduced what it's called Celebrate Nigeria Challenge to spur Nigerians to think, talk, and act positive about their country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who disclosed this during an interaction with journalists on the ongoing operations of the armed forces of Nigeria in different theaters of operation across all geopolitical zones of the country. He urged the citizenry to endure today's pain for tomorrow's gain. Princess Ekwi Ajide of ABS Abuja Bureau tells us more.
He said the armed forces are determined to end terrorism and insecurity across the country and therefore taking concrete steps in that direction, as creating a safer environment for citizens translates to eliminating all threats hindering the safety and security of citizens. Speaking on the success of troops in the month of February, Major General Buba said synchronized strikes between the ground and air forces on terrorist enclaves killed significant number of them, adding that these strikes had significant adverse impact on the terrorists. According to him, during the period under review, troops neutralized 974 terrorists, arrested 621 of them, rescued 466 kidnapped hostages, recovered 1,573 assorted weapons, 23,345 assorted ammunition, and denied oil thieves an estimated sum of over 8 billion naira.
Over 6,100 rounds of 7.62mm NATO ammunition were equally recovered in the month of February. 512 rounds of 9mm ammo was also recovered among several others.
He cautioned that if these terrorist groups do not come to the table in peace, the armed forces will continue to punish them with overwhelming military force, especially as they recently took delivery of additional air platform to further enhance their lethal capabilities. In Abuja, Princess Ikwi Ajide reporting.
Ukwala community, one of the Igala-speaking communities in Anambra West Council area, recently hosted people from all walks of life during the 2024 Ofala Festival of their traditional ruler, Igwe Joseph Ajodo. The festival also brought sons and daughters of the community together to celebrate their traditional ruler, Igwe Ajodo, who they call Egashi Ukwala, as the first traditional ruler of the community to rule for 23 years. Correspondent Amaka Okoye covered the report and brought this story.
Is also the chairman, Anambra North Traditional Rulers Council. The Ofala got to its climax when the wife of Egashi Ukwala, Lady Nonye Ajodo, presented kola notes, followed by all the rituals that accompanied breaking of the kola. Addressing his subjects and all that graced the occasion while breaking the kola notes, Igwe Ajodo said his reign has been about bringing the community together to champion peace and oneness so as to achieve their desired goals, which has given them the desired progress through their sons and daughters who became agents of development. While praying for his community, Igwe Ajodo commended the efforts of Governor Chukwuma Soludo in bringing infrastructural development to Ukwala, as they are now enjoying 24/7 water supply, a health center, and town hall.
Ngozi o Chineke na-agọzi mmadụ wee na-asịkwa ka ha were obi dị umeala ka anyị niile wee yikọọ ọnụ.
Felicitating Ndi Ukwala, the traditional ruler of Owele, Igwe Raymond Onoja, said that as a neighboring community to Ukwala, they have it so good in their relations with the community under Igwe Ajodo, who will always be at the path of truth, stating that all infrastructural development came to their community because of the efforts of Igwe Ajodo. Expressing his joy at the successful ceremony, the transition committee chairman of Anambra West Council area, Mr. Felix Ikeshi, maintained that Egashi Ukwala is a revered, peaceful, and straightforward king who always sought for peace and bears the burden of the Anambra West at heart.
He's one of our revered Igwe. He's a man of the people. He's a very peaceful Igwe, and we are indeed very proud of him.
Igwe Ajodo also used the Ofala Festival to confer chieftaincy titles on some deserving individuals who contributed to the development of the community, among whom were Chief Dan Ozemene, who he gave the title of Odenjinji Ukwala. Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Mbamili, Right Reverend Obiora Uzochukwu, had earlier presided over a short interdenominational service heralding the Ofala Festival. Paying of homage to Igwe Ajodo and other cultural displays added glamour to the 2024 Ofala Egashi Ukwala. From Ukwala, Anambra West Council area, Amaka Okoye, ABS News.
At least 112 Palestinians are said to have been killed and 760 injured during when they were trying to get aid desperately in Gaza. Crowds descended on a convoy of lorries on the coastal road southwest of Gaza City in the presence of Israeli tanks. Israeli military said tanks fired warning shots but did not strike the lorries, adding many of the dead were trampled over and run over. Hamas rejected Israel's account, saying there was undeniable evidence of direct firing at citizens. The UN Secretary Council scheduled a closed-door emergency meeting to discuss the incident, during which Algeria, the Arab representative on the body, put forward a draft statement blaming Israel for Israeli forces for opening fire, while 14 of the Council's 15 members supported the notion. The U.S. blocked it, according to AP news agency, citing Palestinian UN Ambassador Riyad Mansour, who spoke to reporters afterwards. U.S. envoy Robert Woods said the facts of the incident remain unclear. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS by liking our Facebook page. You can follow us at ABS Anambra Broadcasting Service, Subscribe to our YouTube at Anambra Broadcasting Service, Awka, and on X at ABS Radio TV, and on Instagram at ABS Radio Television. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. The main point again before we go. ASTEC has observed a minute's silence in honor of Ochanja building collapse victims. Mrs. Soludo has called for more commitment in the fight against drug abuse. Nigeria Defense Headquarters has begun Celebrate Nigeria Challenge. And on the foreign scene we brought to you, US has blocked UN Security Council scheduled meeting over Gaza's death. Here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the tasks ahead.